The morning of my 21st birthday should have felt magical, but when I opened my eyes, the first thing I noticed was silence. No balloons taped to the wall, no text notifications lighting up my phone, no smell of pancakes drifting from the kitchen. Just quiet, heavy, and dull, pressing against me like a weight. I grabbed my phone, heart racing with the hope of seeing a flood of messages. Nothing. No happy birthday, Sophia, from Chloe, my so-called best friend. No reminder from Mom, no check-in from Dad. I blinked at the empty screen, confusion quickly souring into disappointment. Maybe they were planning a surprise, I thought. Maybe this was all part of some elaborate plan to trick me into thinking everyone had forgotten, only to reveal something incredible later. I clung to that idea like it was the last thread keeping me from falling apart. But by the time noon rolled around, reality was impossible to ignore. Chloe posted a story of herself at brunch with friends I wasn't invited to join. Mom sat at the kitchen table with her coffee and newspaper, barely looking up when I walked in. "You're up late," she said absently, as though it were any other day. I opened my mouth, waiting for her to add "Happy birthday," but it never came. When Dad came home briefly to grab some files, I thought surely he would remember. But he only muttered, "Busy day, don't wait up," before rushing out again. By evening, my chest ached from holding back tears. My 21st birthday, the one I'd imagined for years, was just another day everyone seemed to forget. I curled on the couch, staring at the blank TV screen, when the doorbell rang. For one wild second, I thought maybe this was it, the moment the surprise would be revealed. I leapt up, wiping my eyes, and opened the door with a hopeful smile. But the person standing there wasn't my parents, and it wasn't Chloe. It was Ethan. The boy I hadn't spoken to in years. Ethan stood on the porch, shifting his weight like he wasn't sure if he'd made the right choice coming here. His dark jacket was damp from the evening mist, and in his hands he held a small package wrapped in plain brown paper. "Hey, Sophia," he said softly, his voice carrying that familiar steadiness I remembered from high school. "Happy birthday." For a moment, I couldn't even respond. The words felt surreal, almost mocking. My own parents hadn't remembered. My best friend had been posting pictures of brunch without me. Yet here was Ethan, someone I hadn't seen in years, standing on my doorstep, acknowledging what everyone else had ignored. I finally managed a shaky laugh. "You remembered?" He nodded once, a faint smile tugging at his lips. "Yeah, I did." I stepped aside, motioning him in. "Come inside." The house felt oddly warmer with him there. Ethan looked around, taking in the quiet living room, the untouched decorations, the silence that hung heavy in the air. He didn't comment on it, but I knew he noticed. I gestured to the couch, and he sat down carefully, setting the package on the coffee table. "This is for you," he said. I hesitated before unwrapping it. Inside was a sketchbook, its cover painted with soft swirls of color that reminded me of sunsets. My breath caught when I opened it and saw the first page, a pencil drawing of me from high school. I was sitting on the bleachers, laughing at something out of frame, my smile alive in every line. "You drew this?" I whispered, my throat tight. Ethan nodded. "I used to draw people who looked like they belonged, even when I didn't." "And you always looked that way to me," I blinked, unable to stop the sting in my eyes. All day I'd felt invisible, unworthy even. And now Ethan was reminding me that once upon a time I had been seen. "Why today?" I asked, my voice almost breaking. "Why come here after all this time?" He held my gaze. "Because I know what it feels like when no one shows up. And I didn't want you to go through that alone." The sketchbook rested in my lap, its pages whispering memories I hadn't realized anyone else remembered. Ethan sat across from me, quiet but steady, like he had all the time in the world. I traced the edge of the drawing with my fingertip, still stunned that he'd kept something like this, kept me in his mind for so long. "You don't get it," I finally said, my voice trembling. Not a single person has said anything to me today. Not mom, not dad, not even Chloe. It's like I don't exist. Ethan leaned forward, his elbows resting on his knees. Sophia, I noticed. That's why I'm here, I swallowed hard, staring at the silent phone on the counter. Chloe's been my best friend since middle school. She posts about everything, literally everything, but nothing about me. And my parents? It's like they've erased the fact that I was even born. Ethan didn't rush to fill the silence. Instead, he let my words hang there, heavy and raw, until I couldn't take it anymore. Why do you care? I asked, my tone sharper than I meant. We barely talked after high school. You could have just forgotten me like everyone else. He didn't flinch. Because I know how much it hurts when the people who are supposed to care the most don't. I've been there, Sophia, and I promised myself if I ever saw it happening to someone else, I wouldn't look away. My chest tightened. There was no pity in his voice, just quiet truth, and for some reason, that hurt more than the silence I'd endured all day. I stared at the sketch again, the girl in the drawing laughing freely, unbothered, alive. She looked like someone I didn't recognize anymore. Funny, I whispered. I don't even feel like her now. Ethan's gaze was steady, almost fierce. That's because today broke you down. But it doesn't erase who you are. For the first time in hours, I let out a shaky breath that wasn't choked with bitterness. Still, one question pulsed in my mind. One that wouldn't let me rest. Why had Chloe, of all people, stayed silent? As the evening deepened, the ache of Chloe's silence clawed at me more than my parents' forgetfulness. Chloe and I had promised each other since freshman year that we'd never miss a birthday. We'd stayed up until midnight countless times just to be the first to send a message, and yet today, there was nothing. I grabbed my phone again, scrolling through her social media. Another post flashed on the screen. Chloe, laughing with friends at a rooftop bar, holding up a glass of champagne. The caption read, "Best nights with the best people." I wasn't tagged. I wasn't even mentioned. The pit in my stomach widened. Anything? Ethan asked gently. I shook my head, forcing a bitter smile. She's out celebrating. Just not with me. Ethan frowned but didn't comment. He didn't need to. The truth was obvious. I set the phone down harder than I meant to and whispered, "Did I do something wrong? Did I miss something? People don't just forget like this." Ethan hesitated before answering. Sometimes people don't forget. Sometimes they choose to leave you out. The words stung, but deep down, I knew he wasn't wrong. Still, hearing it said out loud made it real, and I wasn't ready for that reality. My mom's voice drifted from the kitchen. "Sophia, can you take the trash out?" I closed my eyes, my hands tightening around the sketchbook. That was it. No, how are you? No, want to do something special tonight? Just chores. Ethan glanced toward the kitchen, then back at me. His expression hardened, like he wanted to step in, but he stayed quiet. Instead, he reached out and tapped the cover of the sketchbook. "Don't let their silence convince you you're not worth remembering." The simplicity of his words made something inside me crumble. I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. For a moment, the house felt less suffocating with him there, yet the question lingered, sharp and unrelenting. Why had Chloe turned her back on me? Later that night, I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the ceiling while the sketchbook rested on my lap. The silence of the house gnawed at me, broken only by the distant hum of the dishwasher. My phone was still stubbornly empty. No texts, no calls, nothing from Chloe. Ethan lingered near the doorway, unsure if he should stay or give me space. His presence was steady, almost grounding, and though part of me felt awkward having him there, another part clung to it. "Do you think I'm overreacting?" I finally asked. "Maybe it's not a big deal. Maybe people just forget sometimes." Ethan shook his head slowly. "Friends don't forget something like this. Not if they care." His certainty both comforted and unsettled me. I wanted him to be wrong, But the hollow in my chest told me he was right. I reached for my phone again, more out of desperation than hope. As I scrolled, a notification popped up. A tagged photo on social media. My stomach dropped when I saw it. It was Chloe, standing with my parents at that same rooftop bar. Linda had her arm around Chloe, both of them grinning. Mark stood beside them, raising a glass. The caption read, "Celebrating the best people in my life tonight. Not a single mention of me." My hand shook as I set the phone down, my throat tightening so hard I could barely breathe. My parents hadn't just forgotten. They had chosen to celebrate with Chloe instead. Ethan stepped closer, his brow furrowed as he glanced at the screen. "Sophia." His voice was careful, but I heard the anger beneath it. I couldn't hold it in anymore. Why would they do that? She's supposed to be my best friend. They're supposed to be my parents. My words came out choked, broken. What did I do wrong? Ethan knelt in front of me, meeting my tear-filled eyes. "You didn't do anything wrong. Whatever's going on, it's on them, not you." I wanted to believe him, but all I could see was the picture burned into my mind. Chloe, Linda, and Mark celebrating together without me. Sleep was impossible. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that picture again. Chloe's bright smile, my mom's arm draped around her, my dad raising his glass as though nothing in the world was missing. As though I wasn't missing. Ethan sat quietly in the chair by my desk, giving me space but refusing to leave. I appreciated it more than I could say. His silence wasn't like my parents', cold and dismissive. His silence was patient, steady, a reminder that someone was still here. Finally, I broke the quiet. Do you think they like her more than me?" Ethan's jaw tightened. "Sophia, no. That's not what this is." "Then what is it?" I snapped, my voice trembling. Why would they choose her over me? Why would they celebrate with Chloe and not even say a word to me? He hesitated, searching my face before answering. Sometimes people use others to fill something they're missing. Maybe Chloe gives them something they want right now, but that doesn't mean you're less. It just means, he exhaled. It means they're blind. His words should have comforted me, but instead they made me wonder, what could Chloe possibly give my parents that I couldn't? I picked up my phone again, scrolling through more pictures. Chloe had posted another video, laughing with my dad, teasing him about his dad jokes. My mom was clapping along, looking genuinely happy. They looked like a family, my family, but without me. A sour twist of betrayal rose in my chest. Chloe had always been like a sister to me. She'd eaten at our dinner table more times than I could count, slept on the couch after late night, movies, even called my mom second mom as a joke. And now, it seemed, she really had stepped into my place. Ethan leaned forward, his voice low. "Sophia, I know this hurts. But you deserve to know the truth. Don't you think it's time you ask them what's going on?" The thought terrified me, but deep down, I knew he was right. I couldn't stay in the dark forever. The next morning, I found Linda in the kitchen, humming softly as she poured herself coffee. The sunlight through the blinds made everything feel too normal, too calm, as if last night hadn't shattered me. I gripped the edge of the counter, my voice sharper than I intended. "Where were you last night?" She looked up, blinking at me like she didn't understand the question. "What do you mean?" I clenched my jaw. "You and Dad. With Chloe." I saw the pictures for a moment. Her expression faltered. Then she sighed, setting the mug down. "Sophia, you're overreacting." My chest burned. "Overreacting? You spent my birthday celebrating with Chloe and didn't even say a word to me." Mark walked in just then, adjusting his tie. He froze when he heard my words, then exchanged a quick glance with Linda. "Sweetheart," he began carefully, "Chloe, she needed us. She's been going through some things, and we thought it would be good to be there for her." I stared at them in disbelief. "So what? You chose her over me? On my birthday?" Neither of them answered immediately. The silence said enough. Ethan, who had followed me in, stepped closer but stayed quiet, his presence like a shield at my back. Linda's voice was soft, almost pleading. Sophia, it's not like that. Chloe's been closer to us lately. She confides in us. We didn't mean to hurt you. The words cut deeper than I expected, closer to us, like she had replaced me without even trying. I shook my head, tears stinging my eyes. You didn't mean to hurt me. You erased me. You chose her. And you didn't even care enough to pretend Mark opened his mouth to speak, but I couldn't hear another excuse. I turned away, my heart pounding so loudly it drowned out everything else. Ethan followed me as I stormed back to my room, his hand brushing my shoulder in silent support. For the first time, I realized this wasn't just forgetfulness. It was betrayal, and I needed to know why. I couldn't wait any longer. If I wanted answers, they had to come from Chloe, my so-called best friend. With trembling hands, I typed out a message. We need to talk. Now. She didn't reply right away, but an hour later, she finally agreed to meet at the cafe downtown. I almost didn't go. I was afraid of what I might hear, but Ethan insisted on coming with me, just to wait outside in case I needed him. Somehow, that small act of loyalty gave me the strength to face her. When I walked into the cafe, Chloe was already there, sipping a latte like nothing was wrong. She looked up, flashing that same easy smile I'd seen in the pictures with my parents. Soph, you look tired. Rough night, she said casually, as if she hadn't erased me from my own birthday. I sat across from her, my hands curling into fists under the table. Don't do that, Chloe. Don't act like everything's fine. Her smile faltered for a second, then returned, thinner this time. What's going on? I leaned forward, my voice low and sharp. Why were you with my parents last night? Why were you celebrating with them on my birthday? Her eyes flickered, just enough for me to notice. She set her cup down carefully. Sophia, it's not what you think. Then explain it, I shot back. Chloe exhaled, glancing toward the window as though buying time. Your parents and we've just gotten close. I help them with things. I've been spending time at your house when you're not around. It's not personal. My stomach twisted. Not personal. How could she say that? You knew it was my birthday, I whispered. You knew, and you chose them over me. For the first time, Chloe's confident mask cracked. I didn't mean to hurt you. Honestly, I thought, maybe they needed me more than you did. The words stung like fire. My parents had chosen her, and Chloe had chosen them. I pushed back my chair, standing on shaky legs. You've taken everything from me, Chloe, and you don't even feel guilty. Her lips parted, but I didn't wait for an answer. I walked out of the cafe, my heart pounding, and found Ethan waiting just outside. The look on his face told me he already knew. The ride back from the cafe felt endless. Even though Ethan didn't press me for details, he just drove, his hands steady on the wheel, his quiet presence making it easier to breathe. But inside, my mind was spinning. Chloe's words haunted me. They needed me more than you did. What did that even mean? Why would my parents need her? When we finally pulled up to my house, I couldn't go inside yet. Instead, Ethan and I sat in the car, the silence stretching until I couldn't take it anymore. She's been spending time here, I said finally, my voice trembling. When I wasn't around, she admitted it. Ethan's jaw tightened. That's not normal. Best friends don't replace you in your own family, I nodded, my chest heavy. It feels like she's been taking my place, and my parents let her. The thought made my stomach churn. How long had this been going on? Weeks? Months? I closed my eyes, remembering all the little things I'd brushed off. Mom telling me Chloe had stopped by to help her with groceries. Dad mentioning Chloe had joined him for coffee after work. At the time, it had seemed harmless. I'd even been grateful they got along. But now, it felt sinister. Like pieces of a puzzle I hadn't realized I was part of. Ethan's voice broke through my thoughts. Sophia, you need to find out what's really going on. This isn't just about a forgotten birthday anymore. Something's not right, I swallowed hard, nodding. He was right. Whatever this was, it went deeper than a missed text or a careless oversight. That night I stayed awake, lying in the dark while the house creaked around me. I heard my parents come in late, their voices low, laughing softly about something I couldn't make out. My chest tightened at the sound. It was the laughter I used to share with them. When I finally drifted off, it was with one thought burning in my mind. I had to uncover the truth, and I wasn't sure I was ready for what I'd find. The next morning, I didn't wait for the silence to swallow me again. I went straight to the kitchen, where Linda and Mark were already sitting with their coffee. My hands trembled, but I forced myself to speak. "We need to talk." About Chloe. Mark set down his mug slowly, exchanging a glance with Linda. She looked almost guilty. "She told me," I continued, my voice rising. "She's been here, spending time with you when I wasn't around. She said you needed her more than me. What does that even mean?" Linda's face softened, but it wasn't enough to hide the truth in her eyes. "Sophia, we didn't mean for it to feel this way. Chloe came to us months ago, saying she felt like you were pulling away. She said you were too busy, too distracted, and we let her in." The words landed like knives. "So you believed her? You thought I didn't care about you, so you replaced me with her?" Mark shifted uncomfortably. "It wasn't replacing, sweetheart. Chloe she made an effort. She showed up. And somewhere along the way, we stopped noticing how much we were leaving you out." My chest burned. Their excuses didn't undo the damage. My so-called best friend had painted me as absent, and my parents had chosen to believe her. Tears blurred my vision. Do you have any idea what that did to me? Yesterday was my birthday, and you left me alone, like I didn't matter. Neither of them spoke. The silence was louder than any apology could have been. Behind me, I felt Ethan's steady presence, a reminder that not everyone had abandoned me. He stepped forward, his voice calm but firm. "Sophia deserved better than this." From all of you, the weight of his words filled the room. For the first time, my parents looked ashamed. I wiped my tears, straightening my shoulders. "I don't know if I can forgive you yet, but I won't let myself be invisible again. Not to you, not to Chloe, not to anyone." For once, I wasn't speaking to them. I was speaking to myself. And as Ethan walked beside me out the door, I realized something. Being forgotten had broken me. But being seen, truly seen, had started to put me back together.